Hey, Insider Book Club, it's Simon Chen. And what's up? What's up? And today I got your first goodie for you. Okay, for those who are new on here, you know about my book. It's coming out in June, The Consistency Pill. And today I'm going to share a couple quick lessons, marketing lessons, especially about creativity that'll help you out. And also a big mistake that I made. Okay, and I can't believe I made that mistake, but it's part of the process and learning. I hope that you don't make that mistake. So anyway, the book is coming out in June, and I'm going to talk about something that will help you with creativity today that you can apply to your social media and will help out with your branding. So what's the tip? I'm going to go right to it. Is how do we come up with the name, The Consistency Pill? I think I'm going to share that with you. So here's the tip: is when you're, and anything you want to do, and if you're doing posting on social media, you look at commercials or anything, the title is very important, right? The title is what catches people. So I'm going to talk about how do we come up with the name, The Consistency Pill. And you can apply it to social media. I still apply this. Anytime I need creativity, I need to think of something, I do this. And the simple rule I use is for 5 minutes. So the reason why people, let me share with this. The reason why people get stuck all the time is they come up with one title and then they think about it. They analyze it, they criticize it, and then they don't like it. They go back and then they do that, repeat the process, and they criticize it. And of course, we're our biggest critic, and you end up going nowhere, right? So you have to understand that we have two brains. We have the right brain, which is the creative brain, and then the left brain, which is the logical brain. I always never remembered until say left is logic, that's the analytical brain, left brain, logic, LL, and the right brain is the creative brain, right? You can say creative has the R in it too, creative brain. And you don't want them to conflict, right? And I'll give you an example of what conflicting is. It's like, when you were in school, maybe you submitted a term paper, right? A paper assignment, and you would proofread it. Like the teachers would tell you, your parents tell you, proofread your book, your work, and you proofread it, and then it sounds perfect, and then you submitted it, and then when you get it back, you had all of these very obvious typos and mistakes they had, right? Maybe now I guess you have spell checkers, you don't have to worry about that, but maybe you have grammatical mistakes, right? But back then, there was none of that stuff, and you make these blatant mistakes, or you use a word too much, or you use the wrong name, something like that. And you're like, how come I didn't see that during the proofreading? It's because when you're in the creative mode, you're writing the paper and you're proofreading it during that creative process. Right, so your brain actually tricks you to think of you're reading, you think it's right, but it's not right. And you see this sometimes, back in the social media, back then, when it first started a couple of years ago, you see people these word puzzles, like find these words, and even though the words were not, maybe they were spelled by numbers, you can still read those words. Those were pretty popular. A lot of people share those things. And that's an example of your creative brain will interpret a word even though it's not spelled correctly. Okay, so you don't want to confuse the right and left brain. And that actually will hold you back. So the way that you want to come up with something is let your creative brain do its work. And then you go criticize it and analyze it later. So the worst thing to do is like come up with an idea, then criticize it and give feedback, then come up with another idea. Instead, you want to, because, they're fighting each other, right? You want to get a creative brain and then the logical brain at the same time. That doesn't work. Instead, let the creative brain go full force and go full blast. So what you do is, for example, when we came up with this title, I would set myself 5 minutes, a 5-minute timer, and my goal was to come up with 25 titles as quickly as possible. And it's not about quality. It's not quality, right? You're going quantity. So it would be, I wrote down all these things, the consistency supplement, the missing supplement, all these different names. And I think the first time I actually didn't come up with 25. I came up with 11 or 12, but I repeated that process a few times. Actually, because if it's a book, normally if it's like a social media post, I'll spend 5 minutes, but it was a book, I did this maybe 3-4 times. I spent 15, 20 minutes, and every time I'll see if I can come up with 10, 15 names. And then at the end of it, I had about like 15 titles, and then I'll look at it. Once the creative brain is done, then I'll go to the logical brain. I say, okay, let me analyze this. Let me see what I like it. And a lot of them were terrible. And by the way, just to let you know, of the 50, none of them were perfect. But the winner, normally you find bits and pieces of something that you like, and then you take this one, and then you take this one. So initially the name was the missing supplement, the consistency supplement. And the reason I chose supplement is because a lot of people who are who I service, the home-based business or direct selling, companies have supplements, right? But we know that they all have great products and great services, but none of it matters if you're missing that supplement, which is consistency. We all know that without consistency, you're never going to be successful. So I kept on thinking this could be a supplement. I thought about, and then from there, I just started finding a pill, like the missing pill. And just taking from these 50 something titles, I took different parts, and this is when the logical brain. So this is a different setting. I'm not like writing the 50 down and analyze. I actually let it sit there for a couple of days, went back to it, looked at different ones, and kind of combined them. And then when I go running, I would think about it, and that's how we came up with the name, the consistency pill. Okay, and by the way, I still apply that technique. Like this one, I came up with 50, but normally I would just, if I'm coming up with a social media post or an idea, I'll just sit for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, come up with a couple ideas, and then I'll look at which ideas are good. And normally, like I said, there's never one that's great. There's normally bits and parts of a couple of them are good, and then the winner, the one I choose, is a combination of different parts. So that will help you with creativity. Just remember this rule. When you're creating content, never go and edit it at the same time. If you're writing a post, just write it, and you don't feel comfortable posting it, save it on your notepad on your phone, save it, and then maybe tomorrow or later on the day, then go back and edit. I still do this too. I never write and edit. Okay, even though I can do a much shorter time frame. If I write the post, I may go get a sip of water, some tea, then go back and edit. I never edit at the same time. I don't get the right brain, left brain. So that's basically the Goodie tip for today. All right, share that with you. It didn't take me that long to come up with the title. When I'm running, I'm thinking about it, but that's the creative process. Now, the other stuff like the 7-step system to increase sales and transform your business, that's another tip, marketing tip is when you come up with a number, that is more, people like that. People like 5 ways to do this, 7 ways to do this. So I didn't come up with a system because people like systems. It's easy. But I didn't want that to be the title, like the 7-step system to create. A book title like that wouldn't be, it would be good for a social media post, but not for a book title. That's why I wanted something like, different, the consistency pill, right? And as long as you want something different, if you want to stand out, you never want to fit in, you want to be something different. Now, the last thing I just wanted to share with you, it's going to take a minute, is the initial first time. Now, I screwed up. Okay, when I announced my book and I actually created an Instagram reel, I did a Facebook post with like hundreds of comments on there. I screwed up. So I'm here to inspire you. If you screw up, don't worry about it. I've been doing marketing for 19 years and I still screwed up. This is so embarrassing. When I did that reel, when I announced it, I got so excited. I used the wrong cover. If you look at a social media post there, the Instagram reel, I actually used this cover, the initial cover here. Right? And this cover also, again, went through the process of multiple ideas, revisions. This was the initial cover, and then it transformed to this cover here. And the reason why we chose initially, it was this, but we wanted the sunset system, something to stand out a little bit. We chose this one with the stair steps. Right? So you're going, and of the 7-step system, you actually will get closer to being consistent if you do each one of them. And the 7-step system will be reviewed in the book when it comes out in June. Okay, there's different elements of it, and you really need all 7, to do that. And actually, when I work with coaching clients, I make sure all 7 are implemented. Otherwise, you're not going to be consistent. So that's how it happened. But what the story behind that is, I gave it to my designer. I needed some images for social media, and he's kind of screwed up. Not that his fault, it wasn't his fault. He screwed up, sent me this image from the Photoshop, even though I told him to do this. And I was just in a rush. I was excited, and I wasn't even thinking. I guess that's an example of the right brain and creative brain. My right brain was thinking social media. I didn't even realize when he sent me the image that he didn't give me this image. He went back on the Photoshop file and sent me this image. And by the way, on the Photoshop, if you know that, you can have multiple versions on there. And he just accidentally sent me the wrong one, and I used it. So anyway, that's a little mistake from my part, but hey, that's part of the journey. You learn from your mistakes, and now I know to double check twice. And don't get so excited when you're announcing your book. So anyway, that's a lesson for you today. You can apply that creativity tip, writing the ideas down. The timer is very important. If you don't use that timer for 5 minutes, you can stay there forever. The whole point is you're going for quantity. How many can you get in 5 minutes? And then you wait a little bit, and then you go back and analyze and critique what you came up with, and you come up with your great idea. All right, so that's a tip for Goodie. I shared a little bit insight about writing the book as well. If you find this helpful, by the way, the book is coming out in June. It's going to be a game changer for an entire sales profession, and also whether it's doing traditional sales, brick and mortar sales, and also network marketing, direct selling. And if you feel this is helpful, hey, the next week I'm going to give you another insight here from the book that's going to help you grow your business, increase your sales. Just send people to the book club, mmnation.com/club. Okay, mmnation.com/club. It's free, and you get free access. And I might actually also give you an excerpt of the book and some hidden chapters as well. It's going to be fun. Anyway, hey, I appreciate you for watching. Appreciate you for part of this book club. And go apply what you learn. And feel free to drop in the comments and let me know if this is helpful for you, and so I can still keep on creating these tips and content for you to serve you. Hey, God bless you all. Go apply what you learned and have a positive impact on someone's life. Take care.